Hi everyone, and welcome to today's class. For today, there are no props needed unless you'd like to have a set of blocks to help bring a little bit more ease and support to today's flow. So whenever you have your space to practice in, go ahead and meet me in a seated position, sitting hips to heels. And just finding a tall spine to start, tuning into your breath, and just giving yourself a moment to arrive here into your space. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bring your hands down to the earth, come into a high plank pose, and then slowly lower all the way down in one piece onto your belly. Untucking the toes, bringing the tops of the feet down to the earth, resting one hand on top of the other and bringing your forehead down to your hands. Continuing to work through the breath, breathing into the belly, feeling the belly press into the earth as the back of the rib cage reaches towards the sky. Finding connection, finding heaviness. If you want a little bit of support here underneath your belly to find some length within your low back, feel free to add that in. Resting the shoulders away from the ears. Just releasing any tension here coming into your space, focusing on the breath, using the rebound and that connection to the earth to give you that feedback to explore a little bit more depth. Go ahead and bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Start to engage through the legs, pressing down through the tops of the feet, coming into a low cobra. Starting to turn on the muscles along the spine. On the exhale, soften back down. Maybe walk the hands a little bit further down the rib cage. Inhale, lift up. Starting to peel the chest, finding some space within the front body. Exhale, fall. Maybe walk the hands back a little bit more, engaging a little bit more, creating more space. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fall. All the way down, eventually bringing the forehead down, and then sit the hips back towards the heels, reaching the tailbone back as the fingertips reach forward, trying to create some length within the back body along the spine. Inhale, pull the body up and through, upward facing dog. Hips fall heavy. Exhale, knees rest down, sit the hips back in space, child's pose. Inhale, rounding all the way up and forward, high cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, sit the hips back. Inhale, rounding the spine forward. Hips fall heavy as you unravel the chest and heart, pulling that forward towards the top of the mat. Exhale, drop the knees, sit the hips back, child's pose. Inhale, pull forward. Opening through the front body, shining the heart forward. Gaze lifts. Exhale, bring it all the way back to the back of the mat. Reach those fingertips even further towards the top edge. Really reaching that tailbone back and down behind you. Lengthen through the low back. Feeling that space open up just underneath the armpits as the rib cage expands, the side bodies lengthen. Breathing into the belly, feeling the fall, the expansion between the thighs, and then start to walk the hands over towards the right. Keeping that left hip pulled back, reaching through the left fingertips, widening through the left side of the body. Walk the hands back through center, come on over towards the left. Pulling that right hip crease back to that back right corner. Breathing into that right side body, that right rib. And walk the hands back through center. And then start to walk the hands back towards your knees. Bring the thighs towards one another. Clicking the heels together, hips to heels. Find that tall spine. And then bringing the fingertips beyond the toes. Start to roll the shoulders out and open, puffing the chest and heart forward. Feel free to stay here if you want a little bit more expansion. Drive down through the tops of the feet, through the shins. Press the hips forward. Let the head fall back, gaze towards the sky. On the exhale, hips back towards the heels, bring the hands out in front of you, tabletop position, and come right into a weight shift here, tucking the toes, shifting forward and back, gripping into the earth, kind of waking up the hands, the wrists, the forearms. And then feel free to explore some freedom within the spine as you shift your weight forward and back, maybe coming into barrel rolls if that feels good. Waking up the body, making your movements as big as you need to work through any stuck energy that you have starting off your day to day. Feel free to linger in the areas you need a little bit more attention. Now your next breath or so, find your way into your tabletop position. Extend the right leg long back behind you, driving the heel back in space, lengthening through the backside of the leg. Shifting your weight forward and back if that feels good. Lift the right leg back behind you and then drive that right knee to the right elbow, bringing that right foot outside the hand. Walk the left toes back. Bring the top of the left foot down to the earth and drive through the back leg to feel a subtle lift to the hips, but also a heaviness within the hips, creating a lot of length through that left leg. Plant the left hand, right arm reaches up and overhead, spinning the chest through the belly button in towards the spine as you spin over towards the right. Come back to center, sit the hips back in space, Ardha Hanuman. Feel free to use some blocks here to bring your chest upright a little bit more if you need. Hips come back down to the earth. Right foot comes back to meet the left. Back into tabletop, come right into that weight shift again. Then find your center, coming into a few rounds of cow. Inhale, sit bones, lift towards the sky, belly falls, chest pulls through. Exhale, rounding through the upper back, tucking the tailbone underneath. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Finding a little bit more energy, a little bit more activation within the back side and the front side of the body as you inhale, pull through. Exhale, round. Inhale back to center. Extend the left leg long, shifting the weight forward and back, rolling over that big toe, and then driving the heel back behind you. Lift the left leg and then drive that left knee to the left elbow, bringing the foot outside the hand, and then walk the right toes back long. Top of the foot comes down to the earth. Gentle push of the right leg into the earth as the hips pull up and forward, while also exploring a little bit more depth. Plant the right hand, left arm opens up towards the sky, spinning through the belly. Keeping that left knee hugging in towards the midline. Left hand comes back down, shift the weight back, Ardha Hanuman, left toes lift. Rebend into that left knee, left foot plants. Left leg meets the right, tabletop position. Come into that weight shift right away. Building a little bit more energy through the palms. Then come into neutral tabletop, moving right into cat-cow. Inhale, belly falls. Exhale, rounding through the upper back, tucking the tailbone. Inhale, tailbone lifts. Gaze lifts at the end. Exhale, press through the heel of the hand, really spread those shoulder blades nice and wide. Inhale back to center, through center as we move through cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, neutral spine. Right leg extends long back behind. Rocking forward and back, or find stillness if that feels good for you. And then kickstand the left leg out, drop the right heel, open the body up towards the right, coming into gate pose. Reaching that right arm towards the top of the mat, expanding the right side of the body. Come back to center, drive that right knee to the right elbow. Foot comes outside, right hand, and then again, top of the left foot anchored down into the earth. Pulling the hips down and forward. Spin the chest towards the right. Right arm up overhead. Right hand comes back to meet the left. Sit the hips back, Ardha Hanuman. Coming back into that right foot. Right leg meets the left. Shifting back and forth. Switching over towards the left side, left leg comes back behind. Keep that rhythmic motion back and forth. Working through the back line of that left leg. Kickstand the right leg out, drop the left heel, open the body up towards the left. Gate pose. Really anchoring through the outer blade of that left foot, reaching through the left fingertips. Square everything back off, drive the left knee, left elbow. Walk the right leg back long, top of the foot down to the mat. Hips sink low, but using that energy to pull the hip points forward. Plant the right hand, inhale, left arm towards the sky, find that twist. Again, wringing out through the center of the body, keeping that belly button in towards the spine. Exhale, sit the hips back in space, Ardha Hanuman. Left toes lift towards the sky, keeping that length within the spine, trying to reach that tailbone back behind you. Shift the weight back forward, left foot meets the right, tabletop. Working again into that weight shift, keeping the energy, trying to slowly build the activation, the energy as we move through class. Find your center as we move into cat-cow. Inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale, cow pose, gaze lifts. Exhale, round it in, tuck everything in towards one another. Inhale, finding the lift of the gaze, the lift of the tailbone. Exhale, round. Inhale, coming back into that neutral spine, and then start to walk the hands out to the top two corners of the mat, keeping the hips high, hips over knees. Chest falls, coming into puppy pose. Maybe keeping the fingers tented here to give your body, your chest a little bit more space to fall heavy towards the mat. If you have blocks with you today, you can always put blocks underneath your hands to find a little bit more expansion within the shoulders, the mid-back. Coming back into your breath. Letting the chest sink towards the floor with every breath, with every exhale. Walk the hands back to center. Cross the ankles, hips come down to the earth. Bring the feet out in front and lower nice and slow onto your backs. As you lower down, go ahead and bring your feet wide towards the edges of the mat and then start to windshield wiper the knees left to right. Really drive the knee of that trailing leg towards the top corner of the mat to create some space within the outer hip, within the side body. Loosening up the hips, the low back. And come back to center. Bring the feet even with the hips. And then go ahead and draw the ribs down towards the hip points, engaging the belly button in towards the spine. Go ahead and lift the legs up to 90-90. And allow everything to fall over, or the legs to fall over towards the left. Coming into a gentle twist. Keeping the right shoulder blade anchored down to the earth. You can either cactus that arm or keep it into a capital T. Just feeling that twist travel all the way from the right shoulder, the chest, through the belly. Engage the core, bring the legs back to center, and then allow the legs to fall over towards the right. Anchoring the left shoulder blade onto the earth. Allowing that spin to cross over from one side to the other. Inhale back through center. And then go ahead, keeping the knees over the hips, go ahead and drive the heels towards the sky, straightening through the knees. And then go ahead and grab hold of the back lining of the legs, bring them in towards your body, coming into a supine fold. Feel free to keep the hips low. Or you can come into more of a plow pose, reaching the toes into the space up above you, reaching the hips a little bit higher towards the sky. Just finding a level of compression, bringing the thighs towards the torso, feeling the lengthening all the way from the low back through the base of the skull. Just come into a shape that feels good for you, that feels accessible, that feels controlled. A space that feels good. Then allow the arms to come alongside the body and slowly allow the hips to come back down to the earth, heels back towards the sky. Pause here. Reintegrate that core, low back, flush with the earth, and slowly allow the legs to fall towards the earth. Lowering for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming all the way down into Shavasana. And for your final rest here, feel free to bring the feet up alongside the edges of the mat, allowing the knees to rest in and knock in towards one another, or bring the soles of the feet together, knees fall out and open. Wherever you choose to be, come back into the breath. Hands resting on the belly, resting on the chest. Or if you want to be more receptive to the energy that you've created, the energy around you, allow the arms to come alongside the body, palms towards the sky. Feel free to remain here for as long as you need. I look forward to seeing y'all next time. Have a great day.